Hello and welcome. You're watching us speaking on Bloomberg Quint. I am Agam Akil and with me is Alex Matthew. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Agam. Always a pleasure. If you got any questions on equity, you can send them to us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp. And you can also call us on 022-454-04141, or you can mail us on askbq@bloombergquint.com. Only make sure to add the AskBQ hashtag.
Okay, well, before we get in our individual queries, let's quickly take a look at the Indian markets and how they're faring. And, well, there is some respite of the kind of declines that we've seen on the Indian indices. What we've also seen is, okay, so we do have about 0.5% increase. And we're trending slightly higher. This, of course, is always a positive, especially considering the last 10 or the last 13 odd sessions, we've actually seen declines for the benchmarks. The Nifty, of course, is the Nifty banking index is also advancing by around, 0.7%. So, well, positives all around. If you can take a look at the broader markets, again, the strength is a little more pronounced in the mid-cap space as compared to the small-cap index. The small-cap index still advancing by around 1%. The India VIX is currently steady at 16.5. Now, again, we really haven't seen too much of a change there today, but we must also remember that the India VIX has climbed from the levels of around 12 to currently 16.5, so there's always that concern. In terms of contributors too, we are looking at the likes of HDFC Limited, Larsen & Toubro, ICICI Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, while keeping the indices buoyant today against the weakness that is provided by Reliance Industries, the entertainment, power grid, and the likes. As far as the broader markets go too, and if you can take a look at your advance decline ratio, there you have it. We have about nearly 2 advances for or 1 decline, actually nearly 3 in fact. So that's the ratio there. So we do have a little bit of a reversal of what we saw yesterday. And even in terms of the top gainers and losers on the NSE 500, we have the likes of SRF, which is currently trending at days highs on the back of earnings. J&K Bank locked in an upper circuit of 10%. The HDFC Housing Finance also advancing, among others, which are also well up and about. We have Jagran Prakashan, Indiabulls Ventures, and HDFC Infra. In terms of losers, again, the momentum is not there, but of course, I'm not going to consider Ballarpur, but if you consider National Fertilizers and among other losers too in today's day of trade, we have Future Retail, Coffee Day Enterprises, and Reliance Naval. Again, Reliance Naval is something that I may not want to consider, considering it's now become a 2 rupee stock. But there you have it, Alex. These are how the markets are looking, but some positives to take away in today's day of trade.
Absolutely. Let's get our 2 experts in for the day. We've got Samir Kalra of Target Investing and Aditya Agarwala of Yes Securities here to answer all of your questions. Welcome to the show, both of you. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm going to take you through Aditya's picks for you. On the charts, he's got a buy call on Adani Ports at the current price, which is approximately 375. He says that you can buy this with a target of 400 and a stop loss of 370. And the second one is a stock that is up and about in today's session, IndusInd Bank, which is currently at 1,422. He says you can buy it at this current price with a target of 1,500 and a stop loss of 1,360.
Okay, well, let's start by taking a look at the queries then. And the first one is from Preeti Pandey. And Preeti wants to know, can I buy sale pardon me, at current levels with a 6-month time horizon? So it's a short-term query. So I'm going to take it with Aditya. It's currently at 40. Aditya, what's your view? Can she buy sale at current levels with a 6-month time horizon?
Not at all. So metals have been out of shape completely, butchered and battered, and amongst the metal stocks, probably SAIL is the weakest. So I would not go ahead and look for SAIL Industries. SAIL. On the contrary, if she's looking to buy something, she might look at NMDC from the metal pack. That is one stock which has actually moved up in trade, and it's outperformed the other stocks in the recent past. Yeah. So probably put a stop somewhere around 98 and buy NMDC for targets of 110 to about 115.
Okay.
Let's talk about Axis Bank. Let's pull up where the stock is currently. We've got Ayush Jain, who bought at levels of 670. and he's asking if we can add more at this point fundamentally. How do you see the numbers, and from the perspective of the entire pack, would you say that Axis is the best bet according to you?
So I think right now hold on to it, don't average out, because if you see the results were kind of mixed. Though NIMs and all grew in a certain way as per the estimates, but the asset quality now looks very different from last quarter or last 2 quarters. So I think there is a kind of a downside over there. We'll look at quarter 2 or quarter 3 numbers and then decide on it.
Okay, well, we also want a view on Time Technoplast. This query comes from Siddhant Samaya. I'm actually going to take a fundamental point of view here, Sameer. This one is back to you. How are you seeing Time Technoplast?
So I don't look at it much more fundamentally, but
Yeah.
any which way, a mid cap and a small cap right now, I feel is a very different no-go zone right now.
Okay.
And only balance sheets can prove whether they'll survive this kind of a downturn. So it's better to stay away.
All right.
Okay, let's speak a little bit more on HDFC Bank on the fundamentals. We've got Bharat Bhushan, who's bought 500 shares at a level of 2,430, and it has since those levels seen some bit of correction, not often where you see that slide. Do you think that is this a good level to add for the long term according to you? He's asking if we should average.
So I think averaging right now in any kind of a bank becomes a little difficult because everyone's commentary is going more towards the downside, that they're seeing more stress. That means more slippages will come in quarter 2 or quarter 3, and the asset quality might just deteriorate. So I think it's better to hold on to whatever bank, HDFC Bank position you have. It's not a bad bank, the systems are very much intact, but the only point is the valuations might correct down further.
But did you see signs in the earnings in HDFC Bank also, worries about slippages?
If you see the provisions were high almost in past 6 to 7 quarters. The slippages were as well high. So I think that in a systematic way is showing towards a tipping off, at least for the short term. So I think the valuations have the room to correct from here as well.
Okay.
Okay, we also want a technical view on NLC India. Actually, Arumuga Perumal wants to know if he can buy at the current market price, and he wants a stop loss and a target here. NLC India is currently trading at 55. Aditya?
It's been a marked underperformer. Year to date, it's down 22%, continues to form lower lows, lower highs. So for me, the checklist is not in as per what I would want in a buying. If I'm buying a stock, stock should be making higher highs, higher lows. On the contrary, it is making lower lows, lower highs. So my recommendation is don't go for the stock. It is just making continuous lower lows. The next support is around 47 to about 48. I wouldn't deny if it comes to those levels as well very soon. So avoid from my side.
Okay.
Okay. Breaking from the queries just for a short bit to address stock. In fact, that Agam mentioned in his trade setup, Divan Housing Finance up and about in trade today. It has released its resolution plan to the exchanges, where the company claims that the lenders will have to take no haircut on the principal amount, but it also mentions seeking funds from banks and the National Housing Board to restart the retail funding activity. Vishwanath Nair is here to take us through the details. Vishy, what are you picking up?
Right, Alex. So while what DHFL stated to the stock exchanges is not the actual plan, they have said that they have submitted a resolution plan to the banks, and that the plan entails no haircut to the lenders, as well as seeking a moratorium on some of the repayments that DHFL has, while also seeking further loans from banks as well as NHB so that it can restart its lending operations. Remember, the company has not been doing any lending for a while now, and previously they had stated that they will seek funds from the lenders and then restart the lending operations by sometime in August. So this is, of course, part of the resolution plan. But this is only still the first phase of the entire process. The lenders have now received the plan, so they will now review it, and thereafter they will start negotiations with the company for better terms. And once that process is over, then the plan gets implemented in DHFL, and thereby the entire resolution process starts. But under the RBI's June 7th circular, they have 180 days from the date of signing that intercreditor agreement. Remember, in early July, the lenders had signed that intercreditor agreement, so they have about 180 days since then to finalize the resolution plan and actually implement it. So once that is done, then we can say that the plan has worked out for DHFL.
Okay, Vishy, thanks so much for joining us and getting us those details on DHFL. And as you have seen on your screen, it's advancing by as much as 8% for now with the very news that Vishy was just talking to us about. But we'll continue to get more details on it. I want to talk about LIC Housing Finance. We have a query from Krish Lohia. He wants a long-term view on LIC Housing Finance. Samir, how's the space looking and how's the stock looking?
So I think the space will get very smaller in terms of the housing finance companies, which will be more investable in terms of long term.
Yeah.
Because eventually it's all about getting money and then giving money, right?
Yeah.
So now the trouble earlier was only getting money. Now when you see the Q1 results, it's about where you've given the money as well.
Correct.
So I think L&T Housing Finance is facing trouble over there, and they've just barely started providing for what they have exposed themselves, because they were big lenders in real estate and NBFCs in B2B. So I think over there the exposure is quite up. Keep yourself limited to HDFC Limited or a Canfin to the max.
Okay, let's talk about HDFC Life. And if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the fundamental guests on our program have said that life insurance, at least for the long term, is positive. And HDFC Life would not be such a bad bet in this space. But we've got Abhishek Rai, who's got a short-term query on this. He's bought at levels of 430, so he's making a little bit of money on his trade. He's bought as much as 1,000 shares. He's asking at this point, given the market as it stands, should he book profits?
So it has outperformed, so this entire space, as you just pointed out, has outperformed the market, be it HDFC Life, SBI Life, for that matter. In fact, ICICI General Lombard has also outperformed. So the space has been buzzing off trade, and if I look at the charts of all the stocks, they definitely look that the trend is up. I would want to stick on to this segment of business at the moment. Put a stop, HDFC Life also, he can hold on to it, put a stop somewhere around 475 and look for a northward target of 520 to about 540. That's very much possible on the card. So definite thumbs up from my side.
Okay, let's move on and take a view on JSW Steel now. Anmol Singh wants to know and actually take a bet on the intraday basis. Let's pull up JSW Steel. We don't have too much time left for this one, just 3 hours left on an intraday basis. And it has come off from intraday lows, currently at 217. Aditya?
I would not trade the stock. It's not able to cross yesterday's high.
Yeah.
It almost made a dash towards yesterday's high, and from there, that level, it's come off. So I would not want to take a intraday long in JSW Steel. Just stay away from it. If it crosses 221 on an intraday basis, then probably go long for targets of 226, 230. Put a stop at 216.
Okay, we've not spoken about escorts, if I'm not mistaken. No. Saurabh Pathak's got a question. He's bought 1,000 shares of the company at levels of 540. He's asking if we should average at this point. So he's looking for a fundamental view. He's looking for a long-term view. What's the point?
So I think it's better to get out, because tractors, again, as I've been saying, that they have 2 years of good cycle and 3 years of bad cycle. So the bad cycle has just started for them. So I think you can find much lower levels. Right now, I think you're not in that much of loss as compared to what potential is. So even the numbers have started saying that now on financials. So I think it's better to stay away from the.
So use today's bounce, are you saying, to get out?
As in.
Okay.
Okay, another very interesting question, and it's actually one of them is on rating agencies. Akshay Mittal wants to know, CRISIL, is this a right time to buy? CRISIL is a little, well, actually seen quite a little correction. What's your view here?
So I think rating agencies are a good play. They have been, questions raised against their management and their modus operandi.
Yeah.
But now, since the questions have been raised, if you see their mechanism, now they are more playing proactive role rather than a conservative role, right?
Yeah.
So now, if you see the valuations and if you see what role they are playing and how mechanism has changed, I think there is some valuation, but give it 6 months or 9 months till the time the cycle turns, because the credit cycle has to overturn and then you'll play a better role.
Right.
Right, Agam, Aditya in fact is pointing out that there has been an uptick, if I'm not mistaken. Let's pull up the benchmarks and see where they're currently trading. At least let's pull up the Nifty intraday and see if there is, yes, so there is a bit of an uptick as of now. What are you spotting? Any levels that are interesting that you want to point out right now?
So definitely on the cards, 11,000 can be possible, and 11,100 will be a stiff resistance to cross, but that is very much possible till trade tomorrow, 11,100 on the upside.
All right. I'm going to take one more fundamental view because, again, there's this question is on Take Solutions. Michael JB says that he's bought it since levels of 150 and he wants to keep it for 3 to 5 years. But his question is, should he exit right now? It's at 95. Do you track this one, Samir?
So Take Solutions has an innovative business. They are into clinical researches and they do the out processing of the whole system for pharma companies. The only problem is right now pharma companies are cutting down on their R&D expenditure. So that means that cuts for Take Solution as well to a certain extent. So I think it's better to keep holding whatever you have right now. See the numbers. Because till the time pharma bounces back in terms of R&D, Take Solution doesn't have much upside from my point of view.
Pull up DCB Bank. Let's see where it's currently trading. 223 is where Akshay Mittal bought it. He's asking whether he should book losses at this point, Aditya.
So stock did see a massive sell-off in trade today, and it was on volumes. From the low point, stock has recovered. So my recommendation is put a stop at today's low. If that is breached, you're out of the trade. If today's low is held, probably there can be a short covering rally to 200 on the upside.
Okay. We also have a query on LIC Housing Finance. Saurabh actually wanted to know, Saurabh Pathak wanted to know about L&T Finance, which we already addressed. So, well, I guess we can talk about LIC Housing Finance here. And actually, Sameer's given us a view, and he hasn't mentioned if it's a technical or a fundamental view. So I'm going to take a technical view on LIC Housing Finance. It's currently at 486. It's down 2% today. How is this stock looking to you, Aditya?
So it had been taking support at the lower end of the channel when I turned a little bullish, but for last couple of trading sessions it's broken that upward sloping channel, and now it's turned a little bearish on the downside. So I believe stock can test levels of 470 to about 465 on the downside. So there is immediate correction that I see first in the stock to levels of 470, 465, then probably an uptick can take place. On the upside, now 504, 506 will act as a stiff resistance.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Dilip Bilkol has been seeing corrections today on the back of earnings. If I'm not mistaken, again, it was a miss on the earnings front on the net profit number. But we are talking about another company, IRB Infra, where Rishabh Tiwari is saying that he is facing losses, but he's not telling us what level he bought at. If I look at the year-to-date chart, it's down about 45%. So I'm assuming that his losses are significant. On the fundamentals, is there any possibility of a bounce back?
So on the fundamentals, I don't see any possibility of bouncing it back, because if you see Mumbai-Pune Expressway, that's a major cash cow. Now, if that was about to get over in August 2019, now what decision ministry takes on it, or whether it renews it, because I think they will go for a fair pricing and they will open up it for a rebidding, at least in that sense. Whether it comes back to IRB through a P back, because IRB alone, I don't think so have the capacity to run at that high cost. So I think that is the biggest negative right now, and the risk. So I think it's better to even book out losses, because the upside can be maximum of 15-20% on that news as well.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to take a query from Shubham Garg. And his question is on PNC Infra. It's a short-term query. It's a technical one. He says he's bought PNC Infra at 145. Is currently at 190. He wants to know if he can book profits or trail stop losses. Aditya?
I would definitely want him to hold on to the stock. This is an outperformer. It's going through a consolidation right now. Very soon it can start its up move above 195. I see levels of 210, 220. He can look to put a trailing stop loss somewhere around 175 to about 172. That should be a trailing stop loss. But overall, the trend is very much intact on the upside.
Okay, Sameer, how do you view Mahanagar Gas bought at levels of 920? So we've got Abhinav Jaiswal who's losing a bit of ground. He's asking whether he should average at this point.
So I think switch to IGL because if you see, Mahanagar Gas has a limitation of volume growth, and the pricing then limits itself as well. And the new territories are not that able to expand that well. And IGL has a ripple effect of being in the NCR, and that gets more traffic, I think.
All right. Well, another query from Reliance Industries, something that we always want to track. We have Akshay Mittal again, who wants to know what to do with Reliance Industries, which I'm assuming he's bought at 1,200 and is currently at 1,133. It weakens quite substantially. We've had a very prominent broking house also downgrade Reliance Industries. Samir?
Yeah. So I think hold on to it. There is no trouble in that certain sense. The downgrade might bring out 1,100 below levels as well. So the main priority is deleveraging. If that continues, I think the system is much better than what people judge it for.
Very quickly, want to take a look on the charts also, because you're grinning very, in a very interesting manner. So I want to know about the levels that you see. Levels of 1,412 just a couple of months back to 1,133 now. How far do you see it going?
So I was probably a couple of occasions, or probably more than that, I've been saying that around 1,300 was not the right level to get into Reliance. Somewhere around 1,133, these are good levels to start getting into Reliance now, because I see good support around 1,120 to about 1,070. So you have this cushion of 50, 60 rupees. Probably you can start nibbling into Reliance from current levels. And on the downside till 1,100 to about 1,070, you can end up buying your entire stake in Reliance, and then probably it will go up again. So the trend is still towards the upside, just a minor correction that we're witnessing, and now it's coming towards the end.
Okay, fair enough. Let's take a look at Phenolics Industries. We have Storm again, 999, who wants to know if we can buy Phenolics Industries at the current levels. It's at 529 currently, at up 1.4%. Aditya, this one's back to you. Would you advise to buy?
So there's a consolidation that's going on following an up move. The breakout is yet to happen. 532 is the resistance level. If it breaks out, I'm looking at an northward target of 560, 580. It's showing that the breakout is on cards, so he can look to get into at current levels, put a stop somewhere around 500 and look for a target of 560, 580.
All right, this is that moment of the show which both our experts have been waiting very patiently for. This is the rapid fire segment. I do request both of them to keep the answers as short and as cogent as possible. Fundamental view, Samir, on KNR Constructions, would you recommend to buy at this current level?
Not at these levels, because I think infra space will bear the burn for the next 6 to 9 months.
Okay, one more for you. Arumugar wants to know if he should buy Yes Bank at these levels or wait for the QIP completion.
He can't speak, so
I'm asking Samir. Yeah, I'm asking Samir.
So I think wait for the capital raising announcement, then you can buy it up.
Muthoot Finance on the charts. Praveen wants to know whether it's a safe bet.
Yeah, it's a safe bet. Put a stop somewhere around 600 and look for a target of 660 on the upside.
Ankit Mishra wants to know, wants a fundamental view on KNR Construction.
Done.
Do you track this?
Done.
Okay, we've done this. All right, Grasim then.
Grasim, stay away, because it drives the value from the cement and the Vodafone idea, so it's better to stay away.
Okay. RBL Bank has taken a bit of a beating, but fundamentally, would you recommend Ankur Bhanot is holding at levels of 560?
Yeah.
Does he hold on?
Hold on, see another couple of quarters and then judge it, because the losses, they've given an outlook which is negative. That hasn't come on numbers yet.
Okay, Indian Hotels looks good. Technical view here. Mayank Saraf wants to know what to do with Indian Hotels. He's actually just put in this thing, so I'll take a technical view here.
So 150 can be your target on the upside. 132 can be a stop loss. This is an ultra short-term trade.
All right.
Okay, Phenolics Industries, we've done L&T Housing, we've done L&T Finance. My goodness, we've taken a lot. City Union Bank, I'm going to take a short-term query. This is stop loss he's looking for. Bought at 199.
180 will be my stop loss.
Okay.
All right, there's actually one more short-term query. It's on Berger Paints from Murthy. He's bought Berger Paints at 325. He wants a short-term view here. It's currently at 347.
It's an excellent buy. Hold on to it. Making all-time highs. Looking for a target of 365.
All right.
Adani Gas, another one for you. Bought at 171. Short-term view. Target?
So a target would be 160. I won't hold on to it for too long. Put your stop at 145.
Okay, well, there you have it. We are out of that time on the show. So honestly, well, I'm going to take a moment to thank both our experts. Thanks Samir and Aditya for helping our viewers with all the queries. That is all that we have on this edition of Ask PQ.
Thanks so much for watching. This is Bloomberg Quint.